It looks like that right now Putin is truly scared, because right now Russian freedom fighters, mostly from the Freedom of Russia Legion, they announced an anti-Moscow raid in the near future. Besides that, more oil refineries and oil storages on the territory of Russia have been destroyed recently, and the commander-in-chief of Russian forces, Valery Gerasimov, mysteriously disappeared. But more about all of this in just a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. And let's get straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. Oh! Yep! Okay, sorry for breaking your ears if you're wearing headphones. I just had a feeling to do it like this today, but okay. Okay, let's continue. So today we have this Russian Barbie, the potential lover of the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, Ekaterina Mizulina, who was given this snowboard. And on the bottom of this desk for sliding across snow is the portrait of her beloved Putin. She was like, yeah, it looks cool, I love it absolutely, but I'm not gonna ride on it. I'm not gonna ride Putin, she said. This kinda interesting sentence, right? Because she does not want the president of Russia to be dragged in his face across the mud. She said she's just gonna store it for collection and look at it, I guess, every single day. And in some way, if you think about this snowboard is pretty much a part of pro-Putin merch. By the way, I just realized something. Speaking about the merch, recently I received this comment. The guy said that I did not even promote my merch in my previous video. So, guys, what do you think? Should we continue this tradition going? If so, I'm not going to promote my merch today as well. I'm not gonna say that this yellow iconic hoodie right now is at 15% discount if you go and order this as soon as possible. I'm also not gonna say, most certainly I'm not even claiming that some of our items from the store will disappear in the near future, so if you are in time to buy them, they will become truly collectible items from the Russian dude community. And guys, yeah, there is no links down below to my merch store. It's definitely not therussiandude.com, so yeah, don't even check it. It's not in the pinned comment, it's not in the description. Don't go and don't even buy my merch. The link is down below. But okay, after not checking my merch website, let's continue, and now let me give you a quick couple of words from the south of Ukraine, then we're gonna talk about the east and this anti-Moscow upcoming raid, and finally mysterious disappearance of Gerasimov. And to begin with, in this southern Zaporozhye front line from Staromayorsky, Verbove to Rabotini in the last 24 hours, Ukrainians were able to repel at least 6 different assaults by Russians. Specifically next to Verbove, to the west of this settlement, Ukrainians were able to destroy an armored vehicle, an assault group of Russians, and next to Rabotini, Ukrainians were able to destroy 6 more armored vehicles of advancing Russian forces. Besides this, Ukrainians were able to destroy extremely rare electronic warfare system of Russians called Palantin, as you can see from this video, which is a very recent development of the Russian military. They were only employed by the military, they were given to the army only in 2019. And in addition to that, in the small settlement called Chervony in Zaporozhye region, Ukrainians were also able in the last 24 hours destroy 1 T-80 tank and 2 infantry fighting vehicles BTR-82A. As we get closer to Kherson region, as you can see from this video, Ukrainians are also building their defense and structures and fortifications in the potential upcoming offensive of Russians against Kherson. Honestly, I do not think it is going to happen because crossing the Dnipro river will be practically impossible for the Russian army. And ultimately, I mean, this is not that much update from Ukraine, but it is obviously related to Ukraine. Here is the video from Ukrainian-Romanian border, where you can see 32 Romanian APR-40 multiple launch rocket systems, which are being transported by train, very close once again to Ukrainian border. And interesting thing about this is that previously Ukrainians already used these combat machines, which basically means most likely these 32 next ones are also designated to be used in Ukraine. As you can see, some countries, such as for example as Romania, they continue supporting Ukraine. It is just that they do not widely publicly announce it. Right, now as promised, let me give you a similar quick update from the east. But first guys, if you don't mind, can you please like this video and subscribe to my channel? Really, it does help a lot, because recently my previous video, YouTube just simply stopped promoting after several hours after I uploaded it. Literally for no reason. It does not even have any restrictions. The graph just shows that it goes like this, the number of views, and then it just flatlines. So guys, I have no idea what is happening, but your support is always appreciated. So please, once again, if you do not mind, if you are still not subscribed, please subscribe and let's see if this helps. Thank you so much. But so yeah, coming back to the east, right here we have statistics from Novomikhailivka, located to the south of Marinka, where Russians attempted recently another assault which completely ended up in a total failure. And as a result of this, another failed assault, Russians lost at least 5 infantry fighting vehicles, BMP-1s and BMP-2s, and 1 more unidentified armored vehicle. And guys, if you do allow me one thing to mention about my struggle with YouTube, you most likely already know that I do have a Patreon where I upload every single day fully uncensored episodes of the Russian Dude. And in addition to that, I have hundreds of footage, photos and videos which I cannot show on YouTube at all. Just for example, for the reference, my previous post on Patreon was 126 photos and videos in just one day, which basically means you receive almost half of 1,000 additional photos and videos every single week. And in the meantime, Patreon is a very good insurance, at least for me personally right now, against YouTube, in case something happens. So guys, if you do decide to check it, there is literally 1 week of free access for you to try it if you see if you like it or not. Literally doesn't hurt to try. The link to my Patreon is down below, and guys, thank you so much. But so yeah, coming back to the update between Russian-Ukrainian conflict in the last 24 hours, even more oil refineries on the territory of Russia have been destroyed or severely damaged by Ukrainian drones, such as for example in Ryazan, Inkston, and also in St. Petersburg region. As you can see from these videos, Russians at first did not acknowledge. They said that they were able to intercept every single Ukrainian drone. But I mean, there is just no denying the fact that there is literally a fire. And in the end they did say that yes, this was the attack by Ukrainian drones. And speaking about the drones, Russians said that this time it was some kind of a very mysterious Ukrainian drone which is capable of crossing 1,000 kilometers without being intercepted, and specifically one of the furthest plants which was affected was at least 450 kilometers away from the current front lines. But once again, I think this is just a simple excuse by the Russian military. Most likely what it actually means, it's not a mystery drone, it is just that the air defense of Russia is not that efficient, to say the least. And just to once again summarize the significance of these Ukrainian attacks against oil targets in Russia, just in the last 2 days alone, a total of 10% of total oil refining capacity of the entire Russia has been destroyed by Ukrainians. And these cities, just to name a few, include the following: Oryol, Bryansk, Krasnodar, St. Petersburg, Volgograd, Krasnodar, Belgorod, Oryol and Nizhny Novgorod. And speaking about Belgorod, there was yet another attack against an administration building, and this time the one which was affected was reportedly the local FSB office. And so right now, since we're so close to the border between Russia and Ukraine, it is finally time to talk about the upcoming anti-Moscow raid, which is being organized by Russian freedom fighters or separatists, however you prefer to call them. To name a few: the Freedom of Russia Legion, Russian Volunteer Corps, and the Siberian Battalion. To begin with, you obviously remember that a couple of days ago they were able to breach Russian borders in several places at once. And just for example, right now in Tyotkino, located in Kursk region, the representatives of Freedom of Russia Legion are still there. They do control this settlement, they're not touching civilians, I mean, why would they do it? And the Russian military at this point is not present inside Tyotkino, they literally ran away. But unlike the Z army, whenever they attack Ukrainian cities, those representatives of the freedom fighters of Russia, they did make an announcement to the people in Bryansk, Kursk and Belgorod regions. They said that they will continue these hostilities against the Russian army, the conventional one, and they urged all the civilians to take care or better even evacuate. They also mentioned that most likely they will not allow people to vote in these elections, so-called presidential elections. So once again, this kind of emphasizes that they are in these settlements at least for the next several days. Speaking about the breach of the border itself, according to the representatives of those separatists, they pretty much claimed that there was no resistance at all, there was not that many border patrol soldiers, and they literally crossed the border like it was nothing. We even have this video proving the fact, showing some representatives of the Freedom of Russia Legion literally just entering the forest, and they see absolutely not a single block post or not a single Russian conventional soldier, no one. They were able to advance, to cross the border absolutely untouched and unharmed. But this is not even remotely the most significant statement that they made recently. According to, once again, representatives of the Freedom of Russia Legion, and they are supported by other separatists from the Russian army, their main goal is to go against Moscow. This so-called anti-Moscow raid is set to happen in the near future. Right now they are just collecting weapons, military vehicles, machinery, everything they need, and just obviously people. They need people to perform such a huge task, because if you remember, whenever Prigozhin attempted something similar almost 1 year ago, he had to have thousands of people behind his back. So right now they are pretty much learning the mistakes from Yevgeny Prigozhin. I do not think that they're going to stop like Prigozhin did, because also, guys, we already know what happened with him. Putin simply does not forgive traitors, no matter what he's gonna tell you. And so right now, even though there is no active there is no active march towards the capital of Russia, the preparations are underway. They said that this is happening, and for obvious reasons they did not announce any specific dates, but once again, the fact is the fact, they are going to do it. And you know what is even more suspicious, to be precise, the timing of the event. You probably know this guy. He is pretty much the second man in the Russian military, the chief of and you know what is even more suspicious? To be precise, the timing of the event we're gonna talk about right now. So, you probably know this guy Valery Gerasimov, who is pretty much the second man in the Russian military right after Sergei Shoigu. And so, do you realize that we have not seen this guy for a very long time? He was not appearing anywhere, he was not making any public statements or announcements, he just literally mysteriously disappeared. According to some media, primarily Western and also some Russian media, to say the least, the very best case scenario what could have happened, he was just quietly dismissed. And no, not in the Russian way, dismissed, but actually he was just fired. But since we know how Vladimir Putin and his inner circle works, which is basically once you're inside, there is no way to be outside anymore. You either serve motherland until the end, or you serve the ground, I guess, to say the least. So for this reason, obviously, some people also expect that Valery Gerasimov might not be with us anymore. But then we start uncovering even more suspicious things, such as, for example, this document which was supposed to be signed by Valery Gerasimov, but instead it is signed by the acting chief of the general staff of the Russian forces, Mr. let me even see, Poznichir. Like, yes, he is a part of the Russian military, but the title says that he is acting chief, temporarily acting chief of the general staff of the Russian forces. Don't you think, guys, this is suspicious? Please let me know in the comments. And by the way, once again, speaking about my previous video, if you have not seen it because YouTube simply stopped promoting it, it is going to appear to my left side. I was talking about this cross-border penetration by the Russian liberating forces. It's a pretty good video, so guys, if you don't mind, give it a try. Please subscribe to my channel for the future updates. Also go ahead and check my Patreon if you wish to support my work. And guys, under no circumstances go ahead and check my merch, just forget it even exists. Don't even think about that there are some items that gonna be disappearing from the store and they become limited collectible edition. No, don't even check my merch. Thank you so much for watching and see you tomorrow.